Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him. And if my pronoun reading bothers you, you can stop the video right now. This is a session of Throne of Suns, which you're like, what is that? Well, this is a hack of Legacy Life Among the Ruins, Free from the Yoke, that I have built. This is a playtest game. I'm going to talk about what exactly is involved with that in just a moment. This session is part of the Open Hearth Gaming Community, which is an online gaming club slash community that has a calendar app that supports it. We have a Discord, Patreon that supports all that. We do podcasts, all of those kinds of things. You can check it out at openhearthgaming.com. Of course, we'll have links to that in the show notes. We have some cool stuff coming up. We've got Mecha March, in which a bunch of people are doing mecha games in March. And then in May, we have a Star Wars minicon weekend that we will also be doing. So we've got some cool stuff that we're doing right now. This is a playtest, just as a heads up, which means that mechanics may change. We may stop and redo things. We may hit something where in my revision, hack, reskinning, I have mixed up terminologies across things. I will try to fix those on the fly. There was a lot of text. Uh, the rules text ended up being like 100 pages worth of work, and then I was like, that's a lot there, and me going through and making changes. So this is us working through that. So I'm going to do our cats. So concept. Throne of Suns is an epic sci-fi game, and it's set in a far future. Maybe it's a far future, maybe it's far past. We don't know. There's an intergalactic, interstellar empire, and this empire has been recently tempered by a crisis, capital C crisis, and we're going to figure out what that is. And they weathered that crisis, and now there is a new person on the imperial throne. Our players are going to be playing factions within that empire. They are serving that emperor slash empress. I'm going to be serving emperor by default, but that's not gender defining at all here. They are with our players are trying to sustain the empire, keep it intact and surviving, even as they try to carry out their own agendas. So there is a little bit of player jockeying for role and position in this play. The play alternates between that faction level play and then zooming into the character level play. And as I said, this is a hack of Free from the Yoke, Shattered City, Legacy Life Among the Ruins. It brings a lot of those things together. This is sort of another iteration on a samurai fantasy game that I had done with this. So the touchstones, though, for Throne of Suns are Dune, Foundation, Fading Suns, Coriolis, Space Worm versus Moonicorn. These are all games and texts and media that have something of the vibe, because that vibe is really Baroque space opera. That is how I am envisioning it. We've got a combination of archaic trappings and far future technology there. There is a fake game actually called Baroque Space Opera, and that's kind of another touchstone for this. So the approach, what we're doing, this is our session zero today, and it's probably going to take all of this session, and we're not going to get done with it all. I'm going to carry over into the next session. That's how these things have worked historically when I've done this. We'll be beginning by making some collective decisions about the setting as a whole. And then we're going to be moving to creating our factions. Every faction is made up of two playbooks. There's what I'm calling kind of a caste playbook. Caste means they're noble or they're faith-based or they're institutional, like guilds, or they're outsider. That's sort of a wide range. And then theme is the focus of that faction, like commerce, war, diplomacy, and so on. Multiple players can be of the same caste. We can have a couple of noble houses, but everybody should be a different theme, in part because one of the goals is that your theme is going to get to also have some authority to define what that looks like in the setting. If you're the spacefaring theme faction, you get to tell us a little more about what spacefaring looks like, what spaceships look like, that kind of thing. Uh, we're going to do that. Then once we get that set, which has a lot of like map building and setting building and things in that, some interaction questions. After that, depending on time, we'll either move to making personal characters for your faction or making choices about the Emperor and what the Imperial project is. Uh, just to say, your character within your faction is an important person. They're not necessarily the leader of that faction, but certainly when we zoom down to that personal level, that's the character we're going to be focusing in on. I know some of you have played this before, but the actual play cycle of Throne of Suns is playing out faction moves until at some point somebody says, okay, I kind of need to do this with my character, and we zoom in. Uh, and sometimes we zoom in to actually play out action scenes and sequences. At that point, other players can bring their characters in, or they can make quick characters from that faction. And we can kind of keep going, zoom in and out until everyone's had opportunities. And we like at some point we kind of say, okay, do we think it's time to have everybody arrive at the Imperial Assembly, like the end of a particular time period when the Emperor calls people back to give rewards to the factions to see how things are progressing. So I call those arcs there. I think I got two different terms, and right now in my brain, I can't remember which I put for which, but we'll find that out when I go and look at the rules again on the Character Keeper. Uh, so tone and topics. Uh, so I've got some baselines, and if anybody wants to say some things to this, a lot of this is going to be defined in our safety discussion, but some baselines for me and kind of how I'm picturing things. Uh, the tone is Baroque. It's weird. There's this, strange confluence of how things appear and how they are. There's fallen technology. There's a dark past. There's crisis. Things can be corrupting. All of that kind of things. Uh, I am open to other interpretations, adding to this, building up the trappings, building up the imagery that we have in this. I should say that this is not going to be grimdark. Like that's not what I'm leaning into. And by grimdark, I mean like Imperium Maledictum 40K, that kind of thing. That's not the the universe that I'm imagining us playing in. It probably could be played in that, but that's not what I want us to lean into. In terms of topics that we might be hitting on, we've got stuff about space empires. So, depending on the choices that we make in the safety section, we may be hitting on questions of imperialism, colonialism, uh, uh, serfdom, religious faith, conflict between species, war, all of those things. So, those are all kind of possible in the mix. But again, on the safety tab, we'll be playing around with that. The one thing I do want to mention is Uh, I really like the Dune RPG from Modifius. I've run that several times, and that got me to go back and reread Dune, which is one of the big cornerstones of this, and to realize just how hellishly regressive and gender affixing Dune is. Uh, uh, it, we're not doing that. Like, just I want to put that out there. That is not the thing. I just that this whole weird gender determinism stuff. I just feel necessary to say that because it did make some people mad when I talked against that in the Dune game. So I want to make them angry as well again. So there is that. Anything want to ask or say about tone before I move on to safety or topics or anything? It's fair. If not, that was an open question I threw to the table like a bad GM. So safety. I know I've played with all of you before, but just to go over what we've got here, we have a layered set of safety tools. We are using lines and veils. We've got lines, veils, and ask firsts. That list that I have in the Keeper is not a fixed list. You feel free to add to it, and also feel free, if we go along, we may add additional things to it. So take time as we go through this starting process to make your decisions about what falls into that for you. Hard lines are we're not dealing with that topic at all. Veils are fade to black, or if we talk about it, we're talking about it at a distance. Ask first just means uh, I'm okay if we have that at the table, but I would definitely want to check in before we do that. Related to that, we have a romance matrix, basically to indicate how you feel about romance interactions with other PCs, with NPCs, whether you're open to that, or if definitively you want, and this is and or if definitively you want to check in before people open that up. Most of the time, people do check in, but I always want to make sure that we have that option. We have those choices recorded on there. The next thing, of course, is the common safety tool that we've used, the X card. The X card is our reactive tool. We use it to mark out when we hit things that are problematic, that are objectionable, that are wildly off tone. If we're starting to head towards something that is a line or a veil, and maybe we haven't caught it, the X card, saying X card is a good thing to do to have us recalibrate. If you just want to recalibrate on that. But if you go to X card, something specific, there's a thing you don't want in the game or we're hitting on you don't like, the X card is reasonable to do. The only question we might ask is like how far back do we need to go to cut to get to where you'd be comfortable going forward. When you invoke the X card, as with any of the safety tools that we use, you are welcome to explain your choice. You're welcome to say, this is why I want to do this. But you do not have to. You are not required to explain that, and no one should be permitted to ask you why. You don't have to defend your choices in these matters. The last thing that we use is we use an open door policy, which basically means that if you need to step away for whatever reason, you're more than welcome to. It'd be great if you could tell us if you could come back, but sometimes life intrudes, deliveries intrude, food intrudes, all of these things. Feel free to step away. It also means that if you're not feeling well, just as a heads up, I'm not going to make that next session. I will do that. Just know who you are, how you're feeling, your limitations on that. It also means, I always say this, that if we get done with this session or even a following session, you're like, this is not the game for me. This is not a game I want to be playing. Then you can write me and say, I'm not coming back. And I will not care. I mean, I'll care that you're gone, but I will not blame or hold it ever against anyone for not playing in a game. I think that is absolutely fine because I'm old enough that I have gotten stuck in campaigns and held in place by the social contract and regretted it in the long run. So just know that that is out there. So, all right. I'll come back and look at our choices on lines and veils again a little bit later that we've made. But right now, we're going to be going in some big scale steps here, some big things that we're going to do. I'm going to be directing you to various tabs in the Keeper. I do want to kind of preview what the Keeper looks like before I go too much further so you know what's in here. Uh, where it's set right now, there, you'll see that the first tab is the Imperium tab. That has all the information that we're going to put in. That's where we're going to put our stuff about the setting choices. It's where we're going to put our details about the Emperor, about the Imperial Project, about the Imperial Arbiter. It's also where we're going to put the minor factions. They're all going to go on that tab. Previously, I had a lot of these things lumped together, but it just made more sense to kind of split some things out to make it easier. So that's the Imperium tab. The next tab has the world building things. So I've kind of broken these out. It has the setting questions we're going to work through. It has some tables and listings and suggestions for setting details. And then it has the materials when we get to them for the Emperor choices and the Imperial Project choices. So that's what's on that. Then we've got individual tabs for each faction. And if two people have a noble faction, we'll just duplicate the noble tab, but I've got those kind of set up with that. The playbooks follow. After that, we've got the cast playbooks and the faction playbooks. And then in between, you'll see there's a tab for planetary systems. So if you'll take a look at that, this may take a sec to load in. If that proves to be a problem, then I can pull this out into a separate Google thing that we can play around with. Uh, Basically, these are a set of small planetary images that I got from various itch and Adobe things. So it will have those. Those are coded with a kind of a reference code because Owlbear Rodeo, which is our uh, sort of general map space keeper that we've got there, has a hex map with all of these planets on them. And like you can actually scroll out far enough that you can see the little like cross reference of row and column to see where things are. When we get to playing with those, we'll be making edits on Owlbear Rodeo, and then we'll be putting notes over in the Keeper when we make decisions about particular planets. I'm hoping this is going to work. This is the first time I've tried this. So we will see whether this proves to be cumbersome or a garden of delights. We will find out at some point. And then pretty much after that are all the various moves tabs, the actual in-play moves, faction moves, character moves, and all of those other things from there. Normally I would have an NPC tab, but I've kind of split those out so that faction NPCs can go on people's faction pages, and then other NPCs can go on the Imperium page. So that's how we're managing that. So the first thing we're going to start with is talking about the setting decisions. These are questions about the like actual reality of the world that we're engaged with. And I've got a number of these, and I'm going to kind of go through them, and I'm going to throw to someone on this and let that person sort of have first say, and then we'll kind of scrum and talk and figure out what people are interested in. It is fair, especially with these setting questions. If I come to you, you're like, I don't know. Let someone else decide. It is fair to say that. So we're going to start with, of these 7 questions, the question of the nature of space travel. So we assume that space travel in the setting that we're working in goes along fixed routes, and there are some playbooks that will establish more about how those work. And there are all kinds of things that we could have for our justification with that. And I've put on here ancient jump gates, warp conduits constructed by precursors, uh, navigated linked rifts that people have to move through other space, slowly shifting galactic ley lines. These are all possibilities. Anyone have a strong preference for your thoughts on what kind of space travel, space setup you would be most interested in seeing? Mike, can I throw on you for this one first?
I was going to say, don't put it to anyone because then everyone will just sit silently waiting for somebody else to talk.
Absolutely.
Um, I'm a sucker for the Mass Effect style warp, ancient jump gates, but I like the idea that they've been constructed by precursors, so we don't know how to build more.
Okay. Other people like that?
Sounds
Okay.
great to me.
All right. So I'm going to grab those two, copy, and drop them in my Imperium setting details thing. All right. So the next thing we ask is about the nobility. This is, in the trappings of this archaic, there is some form of nobility out here in the empire. Those nobles ultimately serve the imperial authority, but the question is, like, who determines what constitutes nobility and manages relations between them? Is there an assembly? Do the houses operate independently? Is the emperor the final say on this? Is there elaborate bureaucracy? Um, Danny, is there any of those things that really appeal to you that strike you? And feel free, we can kind of come up with a couple and figure out which ones we like, combine them.
Yeah, so and this might work combined, or might work well combined with another one, but I saw the option for formalized codes of action, behavior, and warfare, and that made me think that there is some kind of ritualistic documentation or some kind of procedural action that everybody recognizes. And so it's kind of who can take, who can follow those procedures, who can, muster the strength, the backing of their faction to be able to create a nobility, so that it is kind of a free for all almost as to, who
So
can rise.
there is a lot of room to do it. It is a legalist philosophy. Okay.
Mhm.
Other thoughts, folks? People good with that? People want to modify that? Want to add to it?
I like it.
Okay. I like the idea. We certainly in Dune we have the idea of Canley, of sort of the formalized arts of dueling, but also of assassination. The idea that any of these kinds of things has this sort of formalized legalist rituals, and it does suggest that there are people that are rising and falling. The next one is the question of aliens. So, while humans constitute the largest species by default in whatever we're setting up in the empire, there might be aliens as well. And some playbooks could describe more on this and the nature of them. But like, what do people want as the ratio, the percentage, tiny pockets, large numbers of diverse aliens, a few major species that are present in the empire, or maybe they're alien empires outside of the empire, scattered peoples. There are all kinds of ways for doing this. Um, Elle, what would you like to say? Any thoughts you have about what aliens here?
Yeah, I like the idea that the empire isn't homogeneous. I I think maybe there are a few major alien species present in the
Okay.
empire. I also do sort of like the idea. I see the we are the aliens, divergent human gene lines, clone, engineered species, etc. I'm kind of interested in that being the norm as well
Okay.
for
You're going
humans.
very quiet.
Oh no. Can you hear me now?
You're still a little quiet. I'm not sure what that is.
How about now?
Yes, there we go.
Okay, that happens occasionally, and I don't know why. I think it's something to do with my headphone port on my laptop. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. So the humanity is like has some gene engineering, has had some variant species, has had some evolutionary things, but then we also have alien some significant alien species in the empire.
Yeah, that seems appealing to me, and maybe like some of the engineering that humans have gone through is a kind of like mixing of genes with these alien species, right? Like we can have a whole spectrum of things going on.
Oh, folks, good with that? Uh, Several major alien races. Okay. The next one is the question of the church. Now, in a lot of these, they have a very Judeo-Christian approach. Certainly, Fading Suns is the most Catholic of RPGs, but we don't necessarily have to hold with that. We do assume the presence of a spiritual or religious practice. And again, if you choose the faith, you're going to kind of choose and describe further details about the church's power. Um, so we can have a single dominant church, the big church that is going there. We could have two competing faiths. We could have a singular church and then heretical cults. We can have a plurality of faiths, uh, a dominant faith that's collapsing and new ones rising, or any like combination of things around with that. Joe, I throw to you on this. Do you have any thoughts on what might be interesting in that score?
I'm wondering if it's because, my children went to Catholic school that I got this. Um,
I
so,
went to Notre Dame, so I know all this. So
um, yeah. So I, the first one that jumped down at me was the singular church and a variety of outsider or heretical cults. I even like the idea of the church having, you know, um, those things inside of itself as well, right?
okay,
Like competing, you know, um, uh, um, factions within the faction, right? Of that are almost to the point of discrete faiths among themselves. So
okay. So singular church and a variety of outsider and insider cults.
yeah,
Folks, good with that? Other things we want to add to the complexion on that? Okay. So we definitely have a big church. It is the expected church, but it is coming apart at the seams. There are people that have come outside of the bounds of that church, but others that have fixed it from the inside. Uh, Technology. This is the next one. So in classically in these, technology has fallen. It is, as I said, a Baroque mix of ancient and modern. The replication and repair of the old is possible, but maybe guilds and elites hold tight to knowledge. So the question is like why has technology fallen? What hinders it from development? What was the cause? And I have a number of things there. It could be just general loss of expertise. There could be a particular resource that was key to things that caused a collapse. It could be a technology destroying syndrome. Technology could be spiritually corrupting. There could be just a general anti-tech crusade that has destroyed things. Uh, we could have had, the Butlerian jihad, the fight against the robots, all of that kind of thing. Mike, thoughts about technology?
I don't really have a strong opinion on this one, so I kind of
Okay.
want to call out to the rest of the table and see if there's anything that's jumping out at anybody else.
Anyone have strong feelings about this?
It's not that I have a, oh, I'm sorry, Danny, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
It's not that I have a super strong feeling about this, but I think the general collapse and decay of expertise sort of jives with what we established about space travel.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But I'm totally open to whatever else.
I like that. It's been that decay. There, people don't know how to bake things. It has fallen out. The gates and other things, uh, and especially with space travel breaking down, that causes additional collapse. There's a cascade effect of decay there. Uh, Folks, good with that? Okay, let me put that in our little Imperium thing. Okay, here is. Oh, get that right button here. The crisis. So our empire has just weathered a crisis. It has just come through it, uh, and uh, at the beginning of the campaign, its shadow hangs over us. Uh, each of you will have a chance when you come up with your playbook to decide what your role was in this conflict. Here are suggestions for what that crisis was. There was a civil war, uh, or the empire freed itself from some kind of occupational force, like barbarian tribes or something like that. Or there was a big war with an alien species, or a struggle against a corrupting supernatural force, demons, or maybe a religious schism that went so far that created an anti-imperial crusade, or something else. This is a big one. It's a shadow that kind of hangs over the setting. I will put this kind of openly to the table to see if anyone has thoughts what sings to them or doesn't sing to them as the thing that has just happened that we're dealing with.
I don't have a strong opinion, but Civil War is fairly simple and and stuff. I'm not too keen on war with an alien species, but I'm not like
Okay.
I wouldn't like hang up the phone if
Eh,
that happens. So either.
Everyone like I mean there the simple one is Civil War. There was a great conflict between different factions that battled amongst one another, and that means that in some ways you are all the last faction standing managed to survive through this. Uh, Folks, good with that? Okay,
Yeah, I
Okay.
yeah,
love that idea. Can I add maybe some details to that if
please.
possible? What if like the Civil War is decided for the moment because the winning strike or part of that was collapsing one of these ancient jump gates that we can't repair or build, and so these other forces may still be out there somewhere in some form and find their way circuitously back into our primarily inhabited planets.
Okay, so there's a section of the Empire where forces of the rebels were, and that jump gate was destroyed, a catastrophic attack, and those people are cut off into the great void, the great dark. And as far as anyone knows, there by by knowing how the jump gates work, there's no way for them to quickly come back. So I like that. That gives us some perhaps play into the looming threat, which is a mechanic for the game. So it certainly sets me up. I like that. Uh, the last thing that we're going to decide, I'll just point you to it right now because we're not going to make this decision yet. But one of the things we're going to decide later on is who our emperor is. And there are three kinds of emperor that we can have. Either we've got an emperor who wiped the table, the old imperial line is gone, and this person stepped up and has established a new household. Or we have a regent. This is the youngest member of the old imperial house, and there are people that are propping them up, and they're eventually going to come of age, but there's a caretaker who's kind of overseeing things. Or there is the hidden heir. There is an actual heir to the imperial line who was raised in secret amongst weird peoples and, stepped in to take up. So those are going to be just thinking about that. That's sort of in the background for us to consider. Okay. Now let's talk playbooks. Given what we know about the situation and the setting, uh, I'd like to ask people what you'd be interested in playing first on cast, and then if you want to say sort of where you're leaning towards in terms of your actual sort of theme, we can talk about that. But let's at least start with like what you're imagining. So, Mike, we've got nobles, we've got faith-based, we've got sort of guild institutional, and we've got outsiders. What are you leaning towards here?
The two that initially jumped out to me were nobility and institutional.
Okay. And again, multiple people can be the same. Danny, what about for you?
I think I could find a comfortable home in any of these.
Okay, that is also fair. L?
I think I'm drawn to outsider or institutional.
Okay. Joe?
Um, I don't see institutional. Where are we looking? I'm sorry.
Oh, so if we
Are these
look,
the factions that we're
if you
talking
look on
about?
the cast playbooks,
Past playbooks. Okay.
yeah,
Sorry.
I've also called it guild.
Ah,
Yeah.
guild. There we go.
Uh,
Um, I would I would say faith or nobility.
Okay. Faith, nobility. Mike, do you have a sense of maybe what you'd want to do in terms of the theme you're looking for here?
Uh, yeah.
And just to kind of go through, so we've got commerce, that's our merchant faction. We've got diplomat, these are our, talky faction. Learned are our scholars. Psychics are people that have weird powers. That could be like magical talents for faith. It could be actual psychics. There would be all of those kinds of things. They just have strange powers. I call them psychic just as a shorthand. Scheming, these are the backstabbers. They're spaceborne. These are people that mostly live in space. They're the ones that know about that. Techno are our people who know the most about technology, and then war are military themed ones. So, Mike, do you have a few that you are interested in?
Yeah, probably the spaceborne one.
Okay.
Or let me look at the cast playbooks again. Sorry, the faction playbooks again. Spaceborne was the first one that
Okay.
jumped out at me,
Hey, and
but
it's fair to
I
say that, like, if making a singular decision is great, it does help. Danny, are you still in any of these for factions? The this side of things for the themes, or do you have a few that you're interested in?
I think as far as themes go, um, I'll probably be interested in something that's weird, possibly. So like techno or psychic, or turning one of the things that seems mundane into something weird.
Okay. Techno, psychic, other. Okay. L?
I'm also looking to go a little weird, I think.
Okay.
Psychic or scheming for me.
Okay. And Joe, what about for you?
Well, well. I've had all this time to think. Um, huh. I hmm, this is one where we kind of want to be unique.
Yeah, everybody should have a different one for this.
I am thinking maybe, God, I'm turning into such a trope here. I'm thinking war, um, war or commerce, synonyms maybe.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
know.
By
Depending
other means.
how you feel,
Okay.
depending on how you feel.
Okay. Mike, if I were to come back to you, now you
Mhm.
decided Spaceborne, do you want that with nobility, like the noble house of Spaceborne, or do you want that as institutional, like a Spacers Guild or engineers, that kind of thing? What do you think?
Given what we set up about space travel and about what happened with the Civil War, I'm going to go with nobility.
Okay. So nobility, Spaceborne, okay. Uh L, uh psychic or scheming?
Um, Somebody else, I think it was Danny, expressed some interest in psychic. Are
Hmm.
you leaning that way, Danny?
I am totally happy to go with techno instead. Totally down for that.
I was hoping you'd take my choice away from me.
Oh, sorry. I did the exact opposite.
No, that's fine. Oh gosh. We don't really have anyone doing anything like religious or like faith oriented, right?
Right.
Can you come back to me? I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. So Danny, do you want to do techno?
Yeah, I'll grab techno.
And what do you want to do techno as an institutional, as nobility, faith-based, or outsider?
I think I'm leaning into either. I see in the grid here in the text suggestions of like church and techno being mech priests, which sounds awesome, or also techno and outsider being androids, which also sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So I think I'm leaning to either church or outsider.
Okay. Church or outsider techno. And Joe, war or commerce? What draws you?
Um, Such a grognard. I'm choosing war.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not really a grognard.
Yeah.
I'm, uh, yeah. So,
And do you want to do that with faith or nobility?
um, okay. I'm at, can I throw something out there for
Yeah.
workshopping
Yeah,
purposes? And
please.
if this becomes offensive, and it's not going to be offensive. I shouldn't say that.
Okay.
If it rubs like away from, I was thinking
Pull the table.
maybe a guild, like
Okay.
a guild of warriors, like almost like a mercenary guild, but not
Oh, I
like
think
a.
that's perfect. We certainly saw that with Dorsai. Gordon R. Dixon did that as a thematic. I think that we've seen that before. Yeah. Yeah. So institutional war. Okay. Um, so we got that. L,
Yeah, I'm gonna go scheming outsiders,
scheming outsiders.
which is
Outs
also very on brand for me.
okay. Scheming outsider. We got noble spaceborn. We've got institutional warfare. And for techno, what
We'll
do
go
you
with
think, Dean?
techno faith, techno church.
Techno faith. Okay. That means I don't have to duplicate any things. Uh, so here's what I want you to do. There are those faction tables, and uh, on the cast playbooks tab, we're going to work through. I'd like you to look at the things that are listed there uh, and go and answer those questions, make those choices up to where it says map making. And you can put that in your faction tab. So I'll give everybody a few minutes and feel free to. This is another one where these are all examples rather than hard locked in things. So I'm going to give everybody a couple of minutes to look through and make those choices. And I'm going to pause the recording while I do that so that Rich doesn't yell at me. I'll let Mike take a swig. Mike, tell us you're thinking now. Give us this is the highest level sort of sense of your faction here.
Yeah, so I'm playing at the Noble Spaceborne faction. They're house name Talal. You would recognize them by their black and silver colorings and the symbol of a stylized warp gate. Um, House Talal was actually born out of somewhat and a certain amount of desperation during the Civil War from two previous noble houses whose holdings were uh, probably not enough to weather them through, and they combined via a political marriage. It is unclear who is supposed to be making decisions in House Talal because both of the people involved in that political marriage are making decisions, and they are both being influenced by the old guard of the various noble houses that were there before.
Excellent. Yeah, so we got a nice sense of that. I look forward to seeing like what the nature of the space travel is that comes out of that. L.
Yes, my scheming outsiders are the Sonoi. They are an alien people who have long been integrated into the various cultures and societies of the Empire. but in the form of sort of parasitic alien beings that take over host bodies and thus kind of infiltrate other peoples. Um, and the Empire at large only recently became aware of their existence during the Civil War when the Sonoy people or the Sonoy made themselves known in order to um, help end the war with as few casualties as possible. Um, they are known by the symbol of the seven-pointed star. Their colors are aquamarine and gold. Um, and they are accepted presently because of their service in the crisis and their continued work to minimize the threat of the return of the rebels.
Excellent. Awesome. Joe?
All right. So we have an order or a house called Tenebrix. This is an ancient, venerable house of war. I imagine all forms, dueling, assassination, out and out war. This this guild or house has provided um, bodyguards and shock troops and all of those sorts of things, and for since time immemorial. But they maintain their position. I chose control of expertise because they're really dang good at it, right?
Hmm.
And just the tradition of their role in the empire. However, since the crisis, they are on the brink of collapse and attempting to recover. In my mind, I think they got too involved and spread themselves so thin, and their numbers were um, decimated throughout through the conflict that occurred. And I don't think they supported any one side. They were equal opportunity providers of death and destruction. So yes, but I do not believe. I believe that that is a secret uh, that they would kill to protect. They don't want. They would not want other houses and other groups to know that they are weak in that way.
All right. Excellent. And Danny?
Yes. This is Zara, House of Divine Communion. Their symbol is an eye traced out in like an organic circuitry. Their colors are black, gray, and white. Their history, they stem largely from communion with the spirit of ancient technology, whatever programs or what's going on with it, a kind of an animism, I guess. Divine ancient attempt to divine ancient secrets or transcend through the knowledge of those who came well before us. Our faith values technology and ritual communion, um, procedures, that sort of thing. And they discourage chaos, unpredictability, and sacrifice.
Hmm.
All of the ancient tech must be maintained. Nothing must be destroyed. And that because of the recent troubles in the Imperium with the destruction of one of the massive gates has led to a crisis of has the faith broken? Have people changed their ways? How could this sacrifice be made due to the trivialities of war, right? Like faith will continue on. Um, and so currently they're thinking, I think, about like expanding and finding a way to um, find firmer ground after this crisis.
Are they, do you think, the big church that has the factions in it, or are they one of those factions within that larger church?
I was thinking, I don't know. I'm happy since we definitely shared the setting details about church. I'm happy to take some feedback and change around. But I was initially thinking that they're the primary church, and all of these internal cults are different ways of interacting or communing with this ancient tech and how.
That's a
Oh,
great idea.
okay.
Especially then we have the outsider cults that are maybe have gone anti-tech that have kind of inverted on that. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. All right, we're going to take our first break here because when we come back, we're going to start working with the map, which is going to take a little bit because I'll show you how to do that. We'll get that. We'll kind of go around and people are going to be picking out a home world and putting a couple planets associated with them. We're going to kind of build that up. So let's take till about a quarter after, and then we will resume. So we've got uh, our space map here. If we go to Owlbear Rodeo, join up on that, and get in there. I'll copy that. Commit. This is one of the places that you're going to be doing the modifications. This is the physical representation. And I'm going to briefly screen share this for folks at home because if I do it once, YouTube will register this as an HD video. I don't know why. So I'm going to stop the share. So how this is going to work is you're going to pick a system and have that as your homeworld system and give that a name. And then as you see in the discussion things, uh, after that, or in the cast playbook things, you're then going to draw two jump lines to any other nearby systems. You choose one that you control and give it a name and establish it that way. For reference going forward, uh, when a planet uh, is controlled, it will just have its name. And we'll note that in the notes. It'll just be a name. If a planet is uncontrolled, we'll put its name in brackets, or if we don't have a name for it yet, it'll still be in brackets. It means it's been kind of discovered. People know it's there, but it's not controlled by anyone. If a planet is hostile, meaning that there's a problem that has to be dealt with before it can be explored, we'll put an asterisk on that. That's going to be the nomenclature, the way we're going to operate throughout this. So we're going to go around and do this for everybody. Mike, uh, what do you want as your home world here? We have our Imperial home world there in the center.
Uh, I joined. Yeah, there we
Yep,
go. I
I
was going
just
to say,
admitted you. It hung there
okay.
for a second. I apologize. And you may
Uh,
need to scroll the view out. If you use your mouse thing, you can scroll out a ways to get the full perspective.
mhm. Uh, I'm just picking a system, right?
Yeah, just pick a system. It's going to be your homeworld system. It can be
I
one
want
that
to pick.
already has some jump lines on it, or it could be a whole new one.
I want to pick something a little out of the way, given what's just happened. I am going to pick System O23.
Oh, 23. Okay. And what do you want to name that system?
Good question. Uh, I'm going to name it Toyama.
Okay. How do you want to spell that?
I will drop it in the chat.
Okay.
But Doyama.
All right. And now you can put jump lines to two other planets or other systems. What other system would you like to have uh, jump lines to?
I'd like to have a jump line to N27.
And 27. Okay, I'm going to draw a jump line there. Okay.
And do I want to be connected to the Imperial homeworld is really the question. And to L19.
L19. Okay.
A little bit out of the way.
That is fine. Uh, so which of these worlds is one that you actually control?
N27.
Okay. So what do you want to name that world?
Zilia. Zilia.
Okay.
Do you want me to go through and update the uh, planetary systems tab
Yes,
as well? Okay,
that would be
I'll do
great.
that.
Okay. Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? I hit the wrong planet. There we go. Text. Okay. Zilia is yours, N27. System L19 is known, but it's uncontrolled right now. So
Mhm.
do that. Hit the text thing on here. Okay. Now, let's talk faction system features for your homeworld and this other system that you control. And if
Okay.
we look in the Keeper, I will pull it up, the world building tables. I will now open that up.
Um,
So 1 to 2 features of your own homeworld and 1 to 2 features of this other place. Of Zilia.
Looking through. So for Doyama, I would like it to be an ocean world with a ring on it.
Ocean
So a
world
ring world.
with ring. Okay.
And for Zilia, oh, I like the Lost Tech automated infrastructure.
Okay. And let's see, and Zilia is N27. Lost Tech. Okay. Word wrap. Okay. We're going to come back to you because you're going to give us a world of wonder in a bit and a planet of terror in a bit.
Okay.
Uh, Danny, let's come to you.
Right?
What do you want as your homeworld?
System L32.
System L32. All right. And what do you want to name that home system?
Zangia, Zangea.
Z E Zengea.
Yeah, that works.
Gea. Zangea. Okay. Uh, and you get two jump lines. Where do you want this to go?
System J29
Okay.
and system K35.
K35. Okay. Which one of these is hmm? Which one of these is a system that you control besides Zangea?
System J29.
A29. And what do you want to call that system?
Fanrah, Fanrah.
Fanra. Okay. And then I'm going to mark this text. Do that. Okay. And we'll put those in the keeper as well. If we look at the world building tables, what are one or two faction features for Zangia?
I think this was a holy place where someone revealed themselves and offered followers a vision.
Okay.
And there's one more you said is a possibility.
Yeah, you can have one or two there.
I think a wall city from the time of the ancients.
Okay. We'll word wrap that. And what is the interesting feature that we have for Fanra?
I think there was one here about beautiful gardens.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Joe, what do you want as your home world?
I'm not gonna lie, I've been holding back saying you sunk my battleship this entire time. But I immediately age myself when I do that. I would like. So a question, if we're not connected with a like a lane or whatever, what does that mean? Does
That's
it mean
good.
anything in game terms?
It does. It will make doing logistics more difficult. I will be going in and adding some minor factions, so I will make sure that there is at least a branch connecting everyone's things
Okay.
together.
I am going to choose E11.
E11. Okay. And that is your homeworld. What is the name of that homeworld?
How about Nedya? Nedya.
Nedya. Okay.
I just pulled names off your name list. I mean,
Absolutely. That's why it's
yeah.
there. And Nedya connects up with two other systems via jump gates. Which other two systems?
Um, D8
D8
and how about oh, I've done it. Is it I-15?
I-15.
Yeah.
Uh, which of those two do you also control?
Um, I-15.
Okay. And the name of I-15?
Morn, Morne. Not to be
Morne.
confused with morning.
Okay. I'm going to put a little thing there on D8. And now for your homeworld of Nedya, uh, we want you to choose a couple of system features.
Um, where was I? I think having a dueling school of single repute feels just about right.
That seems perfect there.
And um, like I feel like I'm going to ruin the whole game if I make the wrong choice.
You're
I
absolutely
will
not.
regret it forever. Um,
The first time my
have,
group played Microscope, like a couple of the people like actually freaked out when we went to do that.
I'm thinking, oh, how about a canal network crisscrossing the world?
Okay. I will fix my spellings later. And for Morn, what is a feature there?
Um, livable canyons on a hostile world
Ooh,
and an orbital alien megastructure. Can't have you can't have a sci-fi game without an orbital mega alien megastructure, right?
absolutely. Excellent. And L, what is your homeworld?
I think it makes sense for me to be pretty far out too. Um, System C31.
C31. All right.
We'll call it Karanoi.
Okay. And two jump lanes.
We'll do F35 and H33.
H33. And you control one of those two systems. Which one?
Uh, F35 looks really cool, so I
Okay,
have to go with that one.
absolutely. And what is the name of F-35?
Let's call that one UV.
Okay. And I'll put little brackets around H-33. Now, what are the features of first Karanoi?
Karanoi is it feels appropriate that it was originally another's possession. The
Okay.
Sonoya came in and little by little took over everyone that lived there, I think.
Yeah,
Um, and I don't know what form it takes yet, but I think there is a sprawling ancient transport network.
okay. And what about for your other world?
Um, there is crystal architecture.
Okay.
And let's go with an extreme day-night cycle.
Okay. All right. So we've got those established. Mike, I come back to you. Uh, you're going to establish another world out here. This is an unnamed system. We're going to mark it as uncontrolled. We're going to give it a name, and you're going to pick a detail from the wonders list. And then we're going to give a surplus to the system and draw a jump line.
Okay. Uh, and this is for the World of Wonder thing, right?
Yep.
What is the should I be thinking about the mechanical benefits or detriments of this, or should I just be placing something that's cool?
Just replaces something that's cool.
Okay. Um, in that case, I would like System P8.
P8.
I'm
All
going
right.
to name it Chemia, which is that.
Okay. And
And
where do you want the jump line to go?
I would like, where do I want the jump line to go? To O12.
Oh, 12. Okay. So it connects up. I'm going to mark it as uncontrolled as well.
Hmm.
So, whoop, hit text edit. So, what is the wonder of Chemia?
I think this is the location of the final battle.
Ooh, uh, that's really interesting. What kind of surplus do you think we would find there? Uh, let me look at the resources list here. Do you
That's
think like computing or spaceships or uh, metals or something? What do you think would be a good surplus?
Yeah, I think either metals or spaceships,
Okay.
or even potentially energy.
Okay. Well, I like the
What
idea of
does
energy. Let's put energy there. Planetary systems, chemia, surplus energy, format, wrap. Okay. Excellent. Uh, and then we come back to Danny.
All
You're going to pick a
right.
world of wonder.
Think with system H22 because it's so pretty.
Okay. And what do you want to name that?
Kosh. Ahosh.
Ahosh.
Sorry. KHA.
Uh, Ahash.
Uh, KHOSH. Here, I'll spell
Okay,
it.
K. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Kosh.
I'm like, that does kind of sound like A now that I think about it.
And where do you want that jump line to go to?
Oof. Let's throw it to system H26.
H26. And what is the wonder of Kosh?
It's a hollow world. Uh, And what I mean by hollow is at one point they took the insides and built them out. So it's like this massive hollow porous sphere.
Nice. Uh, what kind of surplus do you think we would have there? Is that metals for mining or uh, would it be like engineers?
Would it are there are the options just kind of whatever?
There is a list under the resources, devices, and war tab. As I pull back the curtain on another big piece of the mechanics.
Is there anything here that sounds like it would go with terraforming?
Hmm.
I mean, engineering could totally work with that for sure.
Engineering would work, yeah.
Okay.
Engineering or organics.
Ooh, let's go with organics.
Okay. All right. Well, surplus, organics. Okay. Format, wrap. Uh, Joe.
All right. I am all over at this time.
Okay.
System H17.
817. All right. And what is the name of that one?
Radana. Radana. Radana.
R-A-D-A-N-A. Okay. Excellent. And for Radana, uh, what is
It is a
its
place where a now lost faction vanished into exile.
interesting? What do you think they left behind that might be a surplus that's left there?
Let's just see. Um, oh wow, this keeps going down. Uh, uh,
Might have gone overboard.
that's no, it's uh, ugh. How about I'm trying to think outside my box here. How about interesting? 'Cause some of them are not like things. They're like
Conceptual, yeah.
yeah. And so I don't know how that might fit.
Imagine that
How
the surplus is if you take this place, you will gain this.
yeah. Um, how about wealth?
Wealth. Okay. Wealth left behind, the treasures. L, what would you like for your world of wonder here? Oh,
And
I'm
for
sorry.
these,
Wait, 1 second. Where do you want the jump line from Radana to go?
Hmm, sorry, back to the map. How about Morn?
Okay.
I-15.
No, because you control that.
Oh, yeah, D19.
D19. Okay.
Only because it's pretty.
Yeah. I'm sorry, L.
no worries. I'm choosing any planet that's not controlled. Any
Any
system
planet
that's
that's
not.
not controlled, yeah,
Okay.
like even one that are if they already have jump line, like the systems around the Imperial homeworld, you could do, for example.
Cool. Um, I'm gonna go for we'll do hmm. I'll do system H26.
H26. Okay.
That's Tara. And it is I had it just now. Where'd it go? Uh, it is a trade crossroads where anything can be bought.
Okay.
And I think the surplus that goes there is probably trade
Okay.
to the obvious thing.
I think that's perfectly fair. Again, I will fix my typing later. So the other half of this is the dark planet here. What is the how did I put it? The planet of terror. So we're going to pick an unnamed system, mark it as uncontrolled and hostile, and then we're going to pick a detail and put a couple surpluses on it so to make it attractive. Oh yeah, Batara should get a jump line, yes. So L, where do you want Batara's jump line to go?
Uh, let's connect it to system K22.
System K22. Okay. Oh, I started that badly. Perfect. Mike, what is our planet of terror?
Uh, O32,
032.
and I'm going to name it Lutus, like this.
Okay.
And
Okay. What is the deal with Ludus?
contains the remains of an unwelcoming automated fortress.
And the surpluses you could find there?
Weapons and defenses.
Excellent. I'll grab that.
Oh, and I need to connect it to something.
Yes.
Uh, let's connect it to Q28.
Okay. Danny, what do you want as your planet of terror?
All right. Let's see here. Let's go with system L7.
L7.
We'll say it's a heretical cult refuge.
What do you want to name it?
Oh, sorry. Yep, it's a good call. We'll go with Modamic, Modamic.
Modamic. L7. And you said heretical cult refuge?
Mm-hmm.
What surplus?
They have a surplus of energy as they consume and burn away all the old tech.
And they have a second surplus as well.
Oh, all right. We'll go with transport.
Transport. Okay. Right. And that was. And where do you want the jump line for Modamic to go?
Kemia, P8.
Okay. Excellent. Joe, your World of Terror?
H3.
H3. We're well over here now. And what is it called?
Drang. D as in dog, RENG.
Okay. And the story with Drang?
A supposedly sentient planet.
So we've got Solaris there. Surpluses?
How about energy and justice?
Ooh, interesting. I like it. Wrap that. Get this marked the right way. And finally, L, what is the last planet of terror here?
Uh, let's go with C26.
C26.
That's Varun. And it is a hive of scum and villainy.
All right.
Surpluses. Maybe some really interesting ones here. Looking through. Weapons, I think. And hmm, experts.
Interesting.
Experts who are willing to do just about anything, maybe.
Best kind of experts.
Yes. All right. So that gets our plans. One of the things I'm going to do is I'll be generating some minor factions, putting them on there, using them to kind of fill in some stuff and fill in names, and we'll get those all on there. And what's another jump point for Varun?
Oh yeah. Uh, what's connected to Botara?
To Botara. Here we go. Excellent. So,
Well, we were missing one connection from Drang, I believe.
oh, yes, you're right. And
Oh,
what's Dreng's connection, Joe?
I9.
To I9. Okay. All right. We're going to take 5 And then we're going to come back and we're going to look at the faction questions. This is an easier set of smaller list things. It'll get us the mechanics for our factions, and we'll get that set and introduce those things. So take 5 or so, and then we're going to come back and do that. So now I'm going to set everybody loose on their faction playbooks. I'll stop the recording again here in a second. Uh, at the top, the second row down kind of talks about these are the kinds of things that you are in play going to be defining to keep in mind. They're not a question for now, but a thing that just remember when those things come up in play, we're going to kind of turn to you to talk about that. You'll be picking your stats. You'll be picking your customs, which includes your ruler, how others see you, but how you are. Uh, row 16 is in the time of crisis. The first one is is a mechanical choice that will establish your relationship to the emperor. The second one is a more like general question that we're going to ask when you introduce your faction. You're going to choose a threat. You're going to pick one of your doctrines, features, some resource things. You're going to go all the way down to just before influence questions there at 48, because influence questions we're going to do after everyone has introduced themselves. You are welcome to also look at the moves for your faction and make choices on those. Everyone except for the scheming gets 2. Scheming gets a set one and then another one. So I'm going to sit here awkwardly as you all work through that and check in with you. And if you have any questions about what things mean, go ahead and hit me up. And once everybody's at a good place, then we'll go around and introduce the choices that you've made for your faction and tell us how this tells us more about who they are. And so now I'm going to stop the recording. So everybody just introduced themselves, and I forgot to record it, but here we go. So we've got the influence questions. Influence is a measure of control over other people. It is both like the leverage you have on other people, but it's agreements that have been made. So influence is kind of publicly known. You can use it to call on people for benefits and such. You give influence, you take influence. Well, minor factions will also have influence on you, and you can also have influence on minor factions. So let's come to our Spaceborne. Uh, uh, what faction had streams of refugees pour into your sectors during the crisis? If you gladly accepted them, you get some things. And I've read it, but you should read it. And do you have an idea of who might that be, or do you want to put that out there for general people?
I'll put it out there. Which
Anyone?
faction had refugees during the crisis?
Anyone want to take that?
I think we definitely could have had some refugees for sure, as like temples were destroyed and caught in the crossfire. They needed a place to go.
Did you
Right.
take them in willingly?
Defined willingly, but yes, we did take them.
Okay. So you will mark that you have 2 influence on them.
And that
Mike.
is on Zara, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And you'll take need food.
Oh well.
And the other influence question?
So which factions supplied me with the vital component for our next generation of starships? They say what they supplied me. I could see this being either of the other 2 factions.
Anyone want to have been the supplier of a strange and rare thing for our Spaceborne?
I mean, it, I mean, one thing that might make sense could be some form of weaponry of some sort, perhaps.
I like that.
I was also thinking, I mean, it's not my place to say this, but like the scheming and some of those secret things they've learned, that might be kind of interesting too. So I'd be okay if that felt better to folks.
L?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm also
mm, sorry,
okay.
Mike, go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say, given that I'm leaning into upgrading our fleet to be able to communicate with the jump gates, that feels like a more outsidery thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm looking at the we have an ancient network of an ancient transportation network on our planet.
Hmm.
And maybe we don't even fully understand how it works, given that we didn't really build it. We just took over from the people who did. Maybe some of the parts there or like some of the underlying technology is useful for you in building those starships.
So you had to kind of
Okay.
give them access to those things. Okay. So L, you will mark that you have one influence over the spaceborne.
Sounds good.
Let's come to our techno. What's the first influence question?
Which faction did we feud with before the crisis? If we put our grudges aside to fight the greater foe, we gain influence on each other. But if we've continued skirmishing in the midst of the conflict, uh, they gain an influence on us. Does anybody have an idea?
Anyone want to take that? The feuding with the tech priests during the Civil War?
It feels weird for me to take it, given that we took in your refugees.
But this is before the crisis, so it is an old thing. So you could certainly take that.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
I'm happy to take it.
Okay. Did you put your grudges aside or continue skirmishing?
Sounds like we did.
Okay. Yeah. So each of you may take an influence on the other.
Okay.
And then for our tech priest, the second question.
Which faction has never looked down on us for our work with technology?
Is that our warriors or our schemers?
I could see I could see it being us. Um, yeah. I if that's okay,
Okay.
I think that
Yeah,
yeah.
sounds great.
So you will take, Joe, an influence on the technos.
Okay.
Okay. Which brings us to your influence question for our Masters of War. What's your first one?
Sorry. All right. Which faction's hero brought one of your leaders back alive from the final battlefield? If both lived, gain influence on one another. If they died saving your leader, give them influence on you. I have an idea, but I was actually thinking L, the the scheming, and I was thinking that they lived, and it might be a little bit why he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs a little bit. So, um,
Yeah, that's really fun.
Okay.
Maybe I don't think this is the case anymore, but maybe he was temporarily sort of um maybe one of us lived in him temporarily,
Oh, I like
and the
that.
yeah,
separation is what sort of made him go a
yeah,
little
maybe
funky.
that's what had to happen to save them,
Hmm.
but it it didn't work out so well for them in the end.
Okay. So each of you will gain an influence on the other. And the second influence question?
What atrocity was your faction complicit in during the war? Say which other factions suffered from your actions and give them influence on you. Um, I mean, we're an equal opportunity
Yeah.
atrocitizer. Um, I mean,
Who?
maybe to complete the circle of life here, maybe Spaceborne.
Okay. Does that work for
maybe
you?
maybe we like I don't know, maybe we destroyed some um like I'm imagining spaceborne and things like that. Maybe there was some sort of like um habitat or something, and we essentially raised it to the ground like in the act of trying to in prosecuting the war, we just didn't care, right? It was just like, you know, some big asteroid settlement thing, and we just like raised it to dust.
Okay.
I'm
Uh,
awful. I'm sorry,
yeah.
everyone. My
Uh,
faction is just awful.
so Mike, you may take influence over the war clan.
Got it.
L, what's your first influence question?
It is. Who sent a delegation to request your aid when you had gone into hiding during the crisis? They say what they promised you if you aided the resistance. If they haven't delivered it yet, you gain influence on them. If they have, hmm, you gain influence on each other. Got it.
So who would have reached out to our strange folk to ask for their aid?
I don't think I have a connection yet with the techno faction, so I would love if it's them, but I'll leave it to you what you might have wanted from us.
Yeah, I think that works for me. Let's see. They say what they promised you if you aided the resistance. Um, what if we had access to some kind of ancient manufacturing thing that created like an alchemical elixir that helped stabilize the connections that, the parasitic organisms uh, have to make with their host bodies? Like maybe there's like a degradation that happens and this helps stabilize that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's really cool.
Have you already delivered that to them?
I feel like they did.
Okay. So you may each gain an influence on the other. And last question now. What is the last influence question?
Why do I keep losing these questions? There it is.
I got too big a spreadsheet.
Okay. Who offered refuge to important members of your faction at the height of the crisis? They say what sacrifices they made to allow you to escape notice, and they gain influence on you.
I think we did.
What did it cost you to do that?
Uh, I think we had to reveal the existence of um, smuggling compartments in our ships.
Okay.
Mhm.
I like that. So, L, you will take influence over them.
Great. And I promise I won't make nefarious use of that knowledge.
Yes. So, this is where we're going to stop. And as I promised, we're not going to get through session zero all in one thing. Uh, what we're going to do next time is we are uh, going to talk about characters. So take your time between now and next time if you want to take a look at the character playbooks. This is actually pretty simple to do. Uh, there are a bunch of different classes. People can be the same class. We'll talk about that pretty easy, but think about what kind of character you might want to have to play out in this. We'll also uh, talk, I'll put minor factions up on the board. I'll talk about what those look like. And you'll get make some influence picks, which one you have influence over, which one has influence over you. And the other thing we'll do at the start of next time is we'll figure out who the emperor is and what they want. And that'll be kind of the closing question before we get to playing. and carrying out those things. Does that sound cool with everybody? Okay.
Sounds good. Hey,
Uh,
well,
yeah,
do we need to do moves for our house as
yeah.
well?
You should have two moves for your house. You can figure that out
Okay.
now, or you can choose it as we play. I'm
Okay.
good either way for that.
Cool.
Um, so we'll do stars and wishes at the end of next session, since we got to a lot today. I want to thank everybody for coming along on this. This is also a game, especially this when we make a lot of choices. If you find as we go along that the choices are suboptimal for you, you are welcome to change things out here in the first few sessions. Uh, does that sound cool with everybody? Okay. Then I am going to stop the recording.